Richard Cross, Dave Hughes in on Friday as usual, and joining us now on the show here on SuperTalk Mississippi, the mayor of Starkville, the Honorable Lynn Spruill. How you doing this morning, Mayor?
I'm doing great. Beautiful day, Friday, before a nice weekend here in Starkville. Couldn't be better.
And before we get into the other stuff, because we have other stuff, because we tend to run our mouths before you get here, so we've now opened an entire can of worms. But before we get there, let's talk about what's going on in Starkville. What do you have going on right now?
Well, from a business standpoint, we are doing a whole lot of construction projects that are making a big difference for us. We've got a 182 project that is massive. We've got a Main Street project that we should be breaking ground on next month. We're still working on a major park renovation. So we've got a lot of stuff happening, a lot of construction going on. We're still overlaying streets and fixing curbs and doing ADA access to sidewalks and all kinds of things that cities do.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize when you're in a leadership position like mayor, especially for a growing town. Well, growing is not really the right term. I think we could officially refer to Starkville as exploding at this point, it seems like. That's a lot of plates to keep spinning on those sticks. You're running back and forth up the line all day, every day. There's a lot of things going on you have to keep straight, isn't there?
Well, there are. There are a few plates that you juggle. If you remember the old Ed Sullivan show, you're not old enough to probably remember that, but they had the guy that spun all those plates. A little bit of that, but when you've got so many good people on staff, you trust them and they do extremely well and they keep you in the loop. So I fly at the higher level and enjoy working with them and making things happen. So it's good staff and good people.
Well, but that takes, and I'm sorry, I'm going to brag about you and other leaders in general. No, you're just going to have to sit there and take it, Mayor. I'm sorry. It takes a good leader to assemble a good team and to manage a good team and to keep a good team motivated. So I don't think we can understate the importance of having the right person at the top, because without the right direction and the right motivation and the feeling that they've got somebody that's behind them and has their back to get the things done that need to get done, those things don't happen. And I'm just going to brag on you for that, and you're just going to have to accept it.
Well, that's very kind of you, but as you well know, I'm a weak mayor. So, it takes a council or a board, in my case, to be supportive of those visions, and they've embraced it. And we've all run in the same direction, which makes it really significant. That's when you can make those big changes.
Yes, when everybody starts rowing the boat in the same direction, you make a lot more progress a lot more quickly. We were talking before we got you on, Lance and I were, about the difference between being a mayor, for example, and being the governor or being in the state legislature. And it's that you have a much higher percentage chance of running into people that voted for you when you're out getting your groceries. There's a little more accountability in that level of elected position. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I absolutely would. And that's the beauty of it to me, is I can go to, what time do I go to the grocery store? Let me see. I'm going to make sure I go when I can see the most people, or else I want to go when I can hide, which would be late at night maybe. But no, you really do take advantage of the opportunity to be out in the community, because that's what you're supposed to do. You want to hear what they have to say. And a lot of times, everybody's happy, and that's a wonderful thing too. But there's always somebody who's got something that they're curious about, or that they've seen that they're not happy about, whether it's a traffic light or a pothole or whatever. But those things are important. And I say to everyone when I talk to a class out on campus, which I've done several times recently, that, I impact, or the board, the city impacts your life much more than the higher level positions that you vote for, because it not only is it a one person, one vote, but you've also got the opportunity to meet with me straight on, face to face, in ways that you don't necessarily for the state level either. I mean, nationally certainly, but on the state level as well. So I encourage them, in our local elections here in Starkville, My first election, I won by 6 votes. The next one, I was unopposed, which was not quite nice. This one, it was a close race for me to get over the 50% to not have a runoff. But all our elections here have been fairly close, and it really does matter. And so you do listen, and you do want to understand what people care about.
Well, and that's the thing, and that's not necessarily, it's just a function of the way things are. I'm not knocking the accessibility of the governor or the legislature, or even taking it up nationally, as you just mentioned, to the president and the members of Congress and whatnot. It's just a function of the way things are. They just physically don't have the ability to run into the majority of their voters when they go out for groceries. It doesn't work that way. But at the same time, that is very important. And I think you made a very good point there. And to me, the analogy to draw between the importance of a mayor and board versus the governor or the president is the difference between when you were in elementary school, who was more important in your day-to-day life, your teacher or the principal?
Your teacher.
And your teacher, because all day, every day, you want to go to recess today? Well, you better stay on the good side of the teacher. The principal won't even know.
If you go to see the principal, you got other problems.
Yeah. Well, by the time it comes to the principal's attention, it's a whole different conversation. Then your parents are involved at that point. But that's why it's so important to have people in your more local offices that are responsive, like you're talking about, that are picking the busy times to go to the grocery store. I don't know how you find parking, but, picking the times where you can run into the most people and talk to the most people and hear from the most people, because that's one thing that has gotten lost. Everyone has become so cynical, and they think, well, nobody cares what I say. I've been saying this for years. I will continue to say this. The easiest way to make sure you're represented the way that you want to be represented is to let your elected officials know what you think and what you want. Because, and I hope I'm not going to out you as a member of the X-Men here, but I'm pretty sure you're not psychic, are you, Mayor?
I'm thinking not, no.
Okay. So you have to tell her. You can't sit at home and be upset and then complain when things don't go the way you want them to. You have to let everybody know. And we've kind of gotten out of that. Partially to blame is social media, I think. Everybody sits around and gripes to themselves.
Let me counter with that a little bit. I have used social media, whether it's Nextdoor, it's Facebook, or it's X. Now, I still want to say Twitter because it's more fun. I have used it almost daily to get messages from people. Now, some of them are snarky, and I try not to be snarky back. But a lot of times I have gotten some good information, like a traffic light or a water leak or something. It has come through social media. So it has been a benefit in that sense. Now, the anonymity associated with it is not quite so pleasant. A lot of times I know who those folks are because I have interacted with them in other ways. But it has a benefit. It has been a benefit.
Now, that is true, but social media is like anything else to me, just a tool. And it depends on the intent of the user and what they're trying to do with it. And so many people are swinging it around like a sledgehammer in a china shop most days. That's not helpful to anything. But what you're talking about is exactly what I'm talking about. You have to, whatever medium you use, you have to let your elected officials know what you think and what you would like to see happen. That's the only way it's going to come to their attention. And there's a much higher chance of getting a hold of you than getting a hold of the governor or the lieutenant governor or the president or the vice president or someone, because the mayor here is going to see it. She's going to hear it, and then she's going to take that into account as she's making the plans moving forward that her team is going to implement. Is that all fair, do you think?
That is very fair, and I have put my cell phone, my personal cell phone number out there. So I have on occasion gotten calls from numbers I didn't recognize, and I'll take the call. And if it's somebody telling me something, I will stop. But if it's a constituent, then I'm happy to respond.
All right, let me just say, okay, that explains a lot, because as it turns out, you are many things. You are effective. You're a great person. I always enjoy talking to you. You have some fantastic ideas. And apparently you're also crazy. You put your personal number out.
Yes, my personal number is not only on the city's website, it's on my Twitter or my X, it's on Facebook, it's on Nextdoor, and when people tab me, I give it to them. So if you want to get me, you can easily get me. Don't say you can't, because it would just be wrong.
And she's not going to say this. I'm a jerk. I will say it. I'm a jerk professionally. You're lying if you say you can't get a hold of her. I don't answer unrecognized numbers, so I admire you for that. That's a dedication that I don't think a lot of people can hold up these days. That's impressive.
It is part of what makes it a pleasure. I enjoy it, and so it is a labor of love. There's a lot of frustration, so I have learned pretty quickly when I need to delete what I've typed and rewrite it. But most of the time it really is. You want to make a difference. I mean, that's why you're here. And if you're here for some other reason, then you need to be gone, because the intent is to do good for your community. So I didn't get reelected. I got elected